Hi everyone, I hope that you are having a great day today. It is a really beautiful day here in Maryland. It is in the 60s. It's a little bit chilly and breezy today, but overall a really nice day to be working outside. I feel like our weather is finally at that turning point. We have a couple of 30-something degree nights coming up that I'm gonna have to be careful with some of my plants outside, but for the most part, I feel like it is officially go time for all the things. I feel like there are just so many things to do that I feel a little overwhelmed and not sure where to start, but today I'm gonna start with my obelisks right behind me. I have been wanting to get those painted for quite some time now. I finally picked out a paint color and I have some clematis vines that are getting ready to grow up them, so I really need to get these done. So today I just decided that I am going to try to complete that project. I may not be able to get them back in the ground today because I might want to let them dry a little bit, but my goal is to get them done. So I'm going to turn you around and show you these two obelisks and the other one that I have on the other side of my house in case you're new here and haven't seen them before, and then we're just going to get to work. So these are the two obelisks that we have right back here in our more shady border. We had built these a few years ago, my husband and I, and just kind of left them untreated up until now, and they've been doing fine. But I really have been craving a color and not just wood. Since we have this wood fence that goes all around our property, I just wanted something that would contrast a little bit better with all of that. So I settled on you can kind of see my sample color right here, on a light kind of sagey green color. I just think that that'll be really pretty, and that green contrasts enough with all of the green around it, with these river birch trees overhead and the green grass. I just think will look really, really nice. And I have another one on the other side of my house that I'll show you real quick. This is our main garden bed area over here, and right to my left I have another obelisk placed on this big tall white wall that I'm gonna be working to try to fill out, but in the meantime this kind of acts as a centerpiece for this bed right below it, right behind my boxwood hedge right here. And you can see that I have also sampled the color on this one and just really liked how it stood out against this kind of creamy colored siding. So I think that is going to be a great addition, that pink color. I'm going to flip you around and show you what color that is and what I'm going to use to paint these guys. So the paint color that I chose is a bare pink color, and it's called Flagstaff Green. Hopefully you can see that. It's just a real pretty kind of light sagey green color. And then what I'm going to use to paint these obelisks is a paint sprayer. I got this off of Amazon. I've never used a paint sprayer before, so this might be amusing. I'm not sure how it's going to go, but I'm going to try it out. I knew that these would be too much of a pain to use a brush, so I decided to venture into a paint sprayer. So let's take this out of the box. I am going to get it all set up and hopefully it will be successful, and these will be painted in a rather short amount of time. Great, that doesn't look like it should be too hard to use, but let's read some directions. I am going to need an extension cord to use this. I'm not sure, I may have to move my location. I don't know if I have an extension cord that reaches long enough. And then it's just showing me how to set up the nozzles, and it looks like I might need to thin the paint a little bit. I got the paint sprayer set up. It took a little bit of reading in the manual here to figure it out, but it wasn't too bad. I went with the black nozzle, which is more of a like medium, or no, actually it's a fine spray pattern, so it won't go quite as widespread as the other attachment, like if I were doing a deck or a wall or a large surface. And then I used a medium, I believe, tip on the inside that will also be better for not like overspraying too much, since the obelisks are not very wide, just the thin little boards. So I think that I got that figured out. I found a long extension cord that reaches all the way to my deck, and then I have my paint here, and my paint says to thin to no more than 1/2 of a pint to a gallon. So 1/2 a pint is about a cup of water. I'm not going to add the water into this gallon. I'm just going to put a little bit of paint in here and then add a little bit of water to this, just to thin it out a little bit, because I might want to use this paint for other things. And another thing that I made a mistake when buying this, which I don't know, maybe you'll notice with the can, is that it is not exterior. It is interior paint. So I don't know why I made that mistake. I went back and tried to exchange it for a exterior blend of paint, but they would not let me. So this is gonna have to do, and you know, it may not last as long as the exterior, but that's okay. We'll just work with it. So I'm gonna open up this can. This can of paint has this screw top lid, which is kind of nice. And then, let's see, it has this like nozzle that you put on, which is also handy. Okay, so I'm gonna pour some paint into the canister. Actually, you know what? Before I do that, I'm just gonna stir it around a little bit with my stick. See if I can do that without taking the whole cap off. It actually still looks pretty good, but just in case, I'm gonna give it a stir. I have my old painting clothes on today, just in case I get paint all over myself, which is very likely to happen. Probably good, and then I'm just gonna add a little bit of water, and that just helps it to not get clogged up in the sprayer, from what I understand. I'm already making a mess. So this paint sprayer is not gonna look new anymore. I'm gonna just put this little nozzle down in and attach the bottom part here. Okay, let's see if it works. If you saw my last garden tour, I just had to show you real quick. I was talking about how these were mostly red and yellow tulips, but just in the past day, I've had these really pretty, like salmony pink tulips open up. So I guess that the pinkish tulips were just a later blooming variety. I was kind of complaining about how there were no pink colored tulips in my mix, but here you go. I think they look beautiful. I put a drop cloth down to protect the grass, and I realized that I'm gonna have to wipe the legs of this obelisk to clean it off a little bit before I start spraying. So let me go get some paper towels or something to do that quick. Of course, I probably should have done this earlier and let the wood really dry out after wiping these clean, but I guess I'm not super concerned because this is the part that's gonna be in the dirt anyway, so I don't really care so much about how the paint looks under the dirt, although I know that it would help to protect it better from rotting and that kind of thing. But it just seems to be how life goes lately. Don't have quite enough time to prepare for things like I should. I'm gonna just shake out the drop cloth again so that it's nice and clean, so that the dirt doesn't stick to the wet paint. Isn't this a pretty lawn ornament? It's like abstract art on my lawn. Okay, should be good to go. All right, moment of truth. Did I know what I was doing? I'm kind of nervous that this is actually gonna work. All right. Oh my goodness, it's loud. It's working. That makes me so happy, but it is noisy. It's working really well. I'm very happy. I was very skeptical whether or not it was gonna work right because me and machines and gadgets just tend not to get along very good. But this should make life much easier. So I'm just gonna keep turning it because I'm afraid the overspray will spray my plants and I don't want that to happen. So I'm just gonna keep rotating. It seems to be okay, not overspraying too much, so I think I'm safe to go this direction, but I'll be very careful. How this is working. It's doing a really good job. I just need a step stool to get to the very tippy top here because I am not tall enough. It's gonna take me a little bit of time to get all behind on the back side of all of these boards and on the tops of them, and I probably will need to do a second coat is what I'm thinking. So I may not film this entire process because I'm anticipating that it is gonna be time consuming. So I'm just gonna keep working. I'm gonna try all different kinds of angles here to see if this makes it easier to have it on its side. This definitely would have been easier if I would have decided the paint color before we built the obelisk, but I didn't. So here I am making life hard as usual. I am covered in paint head to toe. It's probably all in my hair. Yep, all in my hair. So this has been a very long project, much longer than I anticipated. So I think I'm just gonna wrap up this obelisk and I'm gonna show it to you in this bed right over here. And I'm also gonna string some fishing line on it to show you how you can climb a vine up these wooden obelisks. And then I'm just gonna work on the other two wooden ones for the back there, throughout the week instead of trying to film it all because it is just too much. So I hope that you understand, but you will eventually see them painted. So I'm just gonna finish up. It's just a lot of nooks and crannies and just very time consuming. So hopefully it won't take me too much longer. All right, I think that this is pretty good. It's probably not perfect, but I am going to stand it up and just make sure I didn't miss any like obvious spots. Overall, I am really happy with it. I love the color. I think it's gonna look really pretty over here in my bed. So I'm gonna take out the one that's in there right now and I'm gonna put this one in just so I can show you what it'll look like. This was really in here. Good, I can barely get it out. Okay. Be super careful not to step on anything. I'm gonna have to kind of re-level this. It probably was not the exact same dimensions as the other one. Okay, I'm just gonna make sure that this is level, sits right. Dig out a little bit of dirt. And then really compact the dirt around the bottom so it doesn't go anywhere. And there it is, all painted up, and I really love it. I love how it contrasts with the house. And if I back up, it contrasts with our fence now, so it doesn't blend in. It's not all the same color. And I just think it's gonna stand out really nice with all of the colorful flowers. It looks so good with the tulips right now. And when I get this space filled out with all kinds of like zinnias and sunflowers and salvia, all the things billowing out from in this little garden area, I think that it's just gonna look really good. So I'm really, really happy with it. I love it a lot. And now I'm gonna just place some fishing twine on it just so I can show you how you can easily grow a vine of these wooden obelisks. So eventually I wanna grow some kind of a vine up these obelisks. I'm not sure. In the back ones I have some clematis. On this one I'm debating between a rose, a clematis, I don't know, maybe a purple hyacinth bean vine this year. I'm not really sure what I want to do, but if you string some fishing line in between these wooden slats, it just makes it a lot easier for some of the, especially the smaller vines, to climb up. I don't think that you would need to do this necessarily for like a rose, but if you're doing a clematis or probably a purple hyacinth bean vine, I don't know, that might be okay without, but just in general, it makes it easier for the vine to climb up. So I'm just gonna go in with some fishing twine and just tie off some sections that these vines can attach themselves to a little bit easier. So bright out here. I'm sorry if I'm like squinting to see the camera, but I just took the fishing line and I tied it all the way up at the top here, just in a knot. And I'm just gonna take it and I'm gonna run it down in between each of these sections. I was considering going like more of a crisscross pattern, but I think that it'll be easier to just go vertically. Some people do insert the like eye hook screws, is that what they're called, when you just literally screw it into the wood? And that would make it a little bit easier to do more of a crisscross pattern, but I don't know if that's even really necessary for what I want it for. I guess we'll find out if this works this year or not. So I'm just gonna take it and I'm gonna go through all of these slots and then that'll be it, nice and easy. this all strung up. If you can see the fishing line, I ran it in between all of these sections, front, back, all the sides, so that there's lots of surface for whatever vine I put in there to eventually grow on. Thank you so much for joining me today as I painted this obelisk. I'm sorry I didn't get to the other two, but I will work on them this week and hopefully they'll be painted up soon so I can show you. I feel like I am just one step closer to my vision of this garden with just this real cottagey feel, just overflowing with lots of colorful flowers and boxwoods and green obelisks. And I can't wait to get some kind of a trellising system on this wall here so that is just kind of covered in greenery and vines of some sort. I'm just really excited for the future. It's just happening little by little. I hope that you guys are doing really well and enjoying some beautiful weather, hopefully where you are. I will talk to you very soon. All right, bye.